Starter bases. For some, they might look like this, others like this, and if you're a show off, it might look something like this. They're different for everyone, but they all share one thing. They're homes. But what actually makes a good starter base? Because just judging on how homey it feels can be kind of unfair to some of the more creative options. While there isn't much of an objective definition, there's three things that I like to kind of try to stick to when I make my starter base. Block palette. Those words can kind of sound scary sometimes, but say your home does have walls, a floor, maybe even a roof if you're looking for some luxury. What is it made of? If you said prismarine, obsidian, diamond blocks if you're 5, or basically anything you have to silk touch, incorrect. I'm just joking. There's no wrong way to build in Minecraft. But if you are spending way longer gathering the materials for your starter base than you actually spend building your starter base, size. If I'm on a server with you and your idea of a starter base is a city with 8 districts and a big castle in the middle for your auto sorter, then don't expect me to ever talk to you ever again. Sorry. Yeah, that's kind of it. Just make it reasonable, man. Potential. This one's kind of talked about less, but it is so cool when a starter base either builds into or becomes part of a bigger project down the line. Like turning your starter base into a whole town. It's not always possible depending on the starter base, but if you plan ahead a little bit, you can get some really cool results. For example, I played with some friends on a modded server and I started with this here. Yes, it barely qualified as a starter base, but at least I had a roof. Anyways, over time, I extended it into the sprawling and ever-growing, expedition site. And if you can't spot it, this was the first tent that I used as my starter base. And it became part of this whole, campground over time. Now, with these concepts in mind, I want to take them and apply them to my own starter base. I have to admit, I have not lived up to my own expectations on a lot of servers. I've often been the type to go way too ambitious with my starter base and either burn out or just never finish before the server dies. But since this time I'm on a single player world, I don't really have to worry about other people. And I can really just focus on me and getting my projects done. But, despite that being the case, I still want to kind of take my starter base in a lax and controlled manner, more than I usually do. For the exterior, I'm going to be only using woods, which I feel qualifies as a simple block. One that's reasonable for a starter base, even though crimson logs are kind of pushing it. You might think that the crimson choice is a little bit strange, especially with spruce. I don't think I've seen much of that combo before. But this is kind of where I'm getting into the playing into a bigger role, into a future build. I have a plan for how I'm going to expand from here, and while I could just make the house look, very basic and boring, I don't think it would be as cool with what I'm planning. So I'm taking some liberties. I'm actually a little worried. I've done a little testing in Creative Road to make sure the block palettes aren't too messy, but besides that, I've tried to keep most of it kind of undiscovered so that I could kind of have some trial and error as I build it in survival. Alright, we got roughly, I think, around how much stuff we're gonna need. I hopefully overestimated. I don't expect the foundation of it to be that big. I'm sure I've already cleared plenty of room. I just want to push this back a little bit. First good step of any build is to start from the bottom. That's what I always say. So we're just gonna start with a pad of cobblestone. Alright, I think I just about got the pad done, or the foundation you can call it. It looks pretty nice actually. I kinda like it. This is actually not a block palette I'm particularly familiar with, and it's raining. Of course it's raining. But I kinda like it. So I might be using this in the future. I'm just eyeballing everything for now, and then if it looks funky later... I did that one high. If it looks funky later, I'm gonna go back in and fix it. If needed. Like, you might think, what is this guy doing? Okay? That's my impression of you, the viewer. But I think it'll cook. I think it'll cook. But for now, it might look a little goofy. Now that it stopped raining, I'm gonna do something I've never done before. JT, in the future, initiate the time lapse. That was pretty cool, right? Wasn't that a pretty cool time lapse? That was a great idea, JT. That was a great idea. It's been a bit, honestly. It's been a few weeks. Since I recorded that time lapse, I got busy. And I have a new microphone now, so I might sound a little different. I'm actually pretty happy with it, even coming back a few weeks later. I think this looks pretty cool. It's very, like, I don't know what the style is, but it looks cool. But even though it's cool that we have a frame and all, it's not very livable yet. Definitely needs some work done still. I don't have a ton of blocks left over besides spruce. But before I even start thinking about the interior, I'm going to have to finish up that exterior because it's really, it's got a few holes in it, let's just say. There's a nice breeze going through the house right now. I decided to take some liberties and get myself an enchanting table since I hadn't yet. Of course, I got myself an Unbreaking 3 diamond pickaxe. That's... Should I even be surprised? Should I even be surprised that this is what the game gives me? First enchantment. Regardless, I need to go get some more tough blocks because I've done some calculations for the next part that I want to put in on my house, and I'm gonna need some more. So back into the caves we go. Oh my god! Oh my god! Jeez! Oh my god! What is happening? What is happening? Oh my god. That's one way to get into the game, I guess. I just wanted to come down here for some tough. That is quite some deep dark. This is like right under my base. But we're just gonna ignore that for now because I just need some tough. Alright, now that we got this extra tough on top of what we already had, I can move on to the next part. Alright, I just put up these tough pillars in the bottom floor here. They're, you know, they might look a little off right now, but once this is all like more put together, I think it'll look a bit better. This whole bottom floor here is going to be mostly open. Most of the stuff is actually, like, the actual home part of it is going to be upstairs. This is just kind of like the entrance. You might be thinking to yourself, JT, you still don't have an interior. And to that I say, why? Why? Why does the game do this to me? Maybe this is a sign that I should actually get my house done. And so that's exactly what I ended up doing. You might be wondering, like, JT, what exactly is the vibe of this build? Like, what are you going for? And I'd have to describe it as, like, kind of elvish, like a gloomy, elvish kind of inspired build. Like in a magical forest, but like not like a super bright one, more like a little bit darker. After that time lapse was filmed, I went to go to bed, but you know, something was just bothering me, so I came back on to, you know, fix it up a little bit, and I ended up playing for a few hours, and you know, this is where we're at right now. I even ended up extending the entire house one farther back, so like this whole section goes one block further than it did before, because I was annoyed that this part was it was even and not odd, so this, you know, wooden part was like too thick instead of one thick, and that annoyed me, so I ended up changing that too. But I have to say, after those touch-ups, I'm actually really liking where it's at right now. You know, we have this whole balcony. My current plan is to, you know, flesh out the staircase a bit more and make a staircase that goes up from here. And then we'll have like another like enclosed second floor that's not so exposed to the air. You know, my intention was to just have a balcony on this side and then leave this side empty. But this side ended up being way bigger than I intended. And I like how it looks, but it looks a little, you know, lopsided. Like, I feel like I need to add the same thing just on the other side now. Honestly, I'm not going to do that yet. My main concern with doing that is that the house is going to be way bigger than I wanted it to be. And, you know, part of my starter base ran was that it can't be too big. Not that it would be huge, it would just be, you know, bigger than I intended. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it like this for now. Just this one side. But I might change that next episode. For now, instead, I'm going to focus on actually, you know, finishing this up, because right now, you know, there's a lot of loose ends still. Alright, as for what's next, we're going to be doing some enchanting. We don't really have very good enchantments yet, and I'm kind of looking to fix that. So, I am going to go to the Nether. The Nether. Flint and steel. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Nether, and I'm gonna mine some quartz, because that's the way that I want to do it right now. I don't really feel like doing it any other way. And you might be wondering, JTSlinga, why are you on a tree? And that's because, hopefully with a little luck, this won't take too long, but, I guess you guys will be the ones that find out sooner than I do. Alrighty, now that we've gotten enchanted with some enchantments, you know, not great ones still, not great ones still. Now that I've actually got some enchantments going, I can actually finish my house. Yeah, I already did it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Here's everything I did. I added stone stairs around the foundation. I added lanterns. I added a staircase. I added another staircase. I added the upstairs. I added texturing to the windows. I added more detailing to the exterior on this side too. And besides that, just like a bunch of details, like small ones. There's still a few things that aren't done yet, like, you know, it looks a little sloppy from this angle right now with, like, all of this. And I want to mess around with a few things, like, in here. And there's very clearly not any interior work really done yet. Like, there's no, like, I want to make this actually, like, livable, you know, I want chests and stuff. I don't know where I'm gonna do chests and stuff yet, but I feel like I can finally say that it's a home. A pretty respectable starter one at that. I think for the most part, I checked off all my boxes with, like, my starter base rules. Like, I don't think I used anything that was too difficult to get. I don't think it's too big for a starter base. I think the only thing that hasn't quite been hit yet on that list of requirements I had was its ability to become something greater over time. But let me tell you guys, I do have plans for that. I also did my one personal goal, which was to actually make it a home, you know, make it actually livable. I don't have a lot of my other builds, like, on YouTube, but my starter homes tend to be very, unique in the sense that they're not actually homes. I know, I'm a hypocrite. But I'm actually so happy with the way that this came out. Like, I think it looks exactly how I wanted it to. Like, honestly, I think it looks better than I thought it was gonna look. I'm so happy that I chose the crimson wood because I honestly love the colors. Maybe I'm alone on that, but I really do just love this house. It came out so much better than I was even anticipating. And unfortunately, that's where I'm going to be ending this episode. I know it was a little boring of an episode, at least compared to the first episode. If you haven't watched the first episode, you totally should. You know, this episode had, like, a lot of time lapses and just other, you know, potentially boring bits. But at the end, I can say that I at least have a mostly finished starter base. And that's all that really matters, right? Right? Hopefully the next episode won't take so long to come out like this one did. But I'm telling you, you guys aren't going to want to miss it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I know I have some fun videos coming out soon. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.